The Young and the Restless spoilers shock Wednesday, February 12, 2024. Shadows of Desire and Redemption, a tale of twisted fates in the dim glow of early morning, when the city still slumbered under a blanket of mist. Summer's heart burned with an obsession that had long since overstepped the bounds of mere longing. For as long as she could remember, Summer had yearned for Kyle's return, a desire so intense that it bordered on an all-consuming fixation. But deep within, she knew that this infatuation was not only an emotional vulnerability but could also be her undoing. The very thing she craved might be the catalyst for a series of irreversible choices, pushing her down a dark path where morality blurred into malevolence. Summer's fixation on Kyle was not a quiet whisper of unfulfilled love, it was a roaring demand for his presence, a plea that resonated with every fiber of her being. Yet, with each passing day without his return, her hope twisted into anger, a fierce, bitter anger that threatened to redefine her identity. No longer content with mere longing, Summer began to embrace the possibility of becoming a villain unlike any seen before. In her mind, the rules that governed right and wrong were mere obstacles in her quest to reclaim the past. And when her plans to lure Kyle back faltered, a new and dangerous ambition took root. Her plans grew darker by the minute. In a calculated moment of rage and despair, Summer devised a scheme that would ensure her ultimate revenge against the world that had left her yearning and abandoned. Her target was Claire, a woman whose life, despite its own dark past, had started to blossom with the promise of renewal. Claire, once burdened by the weight of a terrible secret, the inadvertent killing of Jordan, had managed to shed the chains of her past, choosing instead to embrace the present with cautious optimism. Her journey toward healing was hard-earned, a constant battle against the inner demons that threatened to pull her back into despair. Yet, in the eyes of Summer, Claire's newfound peace was a treasure to be snatched away. Summer's meticulously crafted plan involved ambushing Claire at a moment when her guard was down. The intention was not merely to harm her physically but to ruin her reputation completely, planting evidence that would implicate Claire in a crime far graver than her past misdeed. Summer envisioned a scenario where the truth would be obscured by layers of deceit, leaving Claire to bear the brunt of a public outcry. But fate, as it often does, had its own designs. The success of Summer's scheme was not guaranteed. Hidden within the twists and turns of destiny was the possibility that her own demons might sabotage her carefully plotted revenge. Amid this intricate web of betrayal and longing, another story was quietly unfolding. Kyle, burdened by the ghosts of his own past and the weight of impossible choices, was determined to carve out a life defined not by regret but by hope. With young Harrison by his side, Kyle faced a crossroads, a decision that could lead him toward a future filled with laughter, peace, and the promise of genuine happiness. His heart, though scarred by previous betrayals, still clung to the possibility of redemption and new beginnings. Every day, he weighed the lure of familiar, albeit painful, memories against the vibrant tapestry of a future yet to be written. In choosing to prioritize his well-being and that of Harrison, Kyle symbolized the eternal struggle between the allure of the past and the potential of tomorrow. While Kyle wrestled with his inner turmoil, Claire embarked on her own path to recovery. The haunting memories of the night she took Jordan's life had once defined her, casting a long shadow over her every moment. But slowly, through introspection and the support of those who believed in second chances, she began to let go. The present beckoned her with its quiet promises of forgiveness and redemption, urging her to forget the transgressions of her past and embrace the simple beauty of a new day. In the midst of her healing, however, the threat posed by Summer's emerging villainy loomed ominously, a reminder that the past was never truly gone and could resurface when least expected. Adding to the tangled tapestry of relationships was the unresolved strife between Amy and Damien. Their once close bond had been shattered by old wounds, leaving them teetering on the edge of estrangement. The discord between them was more than a simple disagreement, it was a deep-seated resentment that festered with every unspoken word and bitter glance. Damien, in particular, harbored an intense disdain for any notion of familial closeness that extended beyond what he deemed acceptable. His contempt was vividly apparent in his interactions with Nate, a person he had labeled as nothing more than trash, someone he refused to acknowledge as a brother under any circumstances. For Damien, the prospect of expanding his already complicated family ties was anathema, a constant reminder of past grievances he was desperate to erase. As the lives of these individuals intertwined, the stage was set for a collision of ambitions, betrayals, and unforeseen consequences. Summer, driven by an insatiable desire for Kyle and blinded by the prospect of retribution, moved stealthily through the corridors of power and deceit. Her plan to ambush Claire was executed with the precision of a seasoned conspirator, every detail meticulously orchestrated to maximize the fallout. In the shadowy alleyways of the city, where whispered secrets mingled with the cold night air, Summer's presence was felt, a dangerous specter waiting to strike at the heart of Claire's fragile rebirth. At the same time, Kyle stood at the crossroads of his destiny, the gentle hand of Harrison a constant reminder of the future he desperately wanted to secure. His internal battle was a silent war waged against the lingering chains of the past, as every decision carried the weight of potential ruin or salvation. The dichotomy of his existence, a life tainted by memories yet filled with hope for tomorrow, was a poignant testament to the human spirit's resilience. Every moment was a struggle, every step a potential misstep, as he sought to forge a path that was uniquely his own. In the midst of these individual battles, the city itself seemed to pulse with the energy of impending change. Each character's choice was a ripple in a vast ocean of intertwined destinies, where the actions of one could alter the course of many. Summer's dark machinations, fueled by a desire that bordered on obsession, threatened to unravel the delicate balance that had been painstakingly built by those seeking redemption. Would her nefarious plans succeed in framing Claire for a crime she did not commit, or would the truth eventually pierce through the veil of deceit, restoring a semblance of justice? The uncertainty was palpable, a tension that hung over every conversation, every furtive glance, every decision made in the silence of the night. As the sun began to crest over the horizon, casting long shadows that danced across the city streets, each character found themselves standing at the precipice of transformation. Summer's descent into darkness was a stark reminder of how unchecked desire could morph into a dangerous obsession, a fatal flaw that might ultimately lead to her own downfall. Conversely, Kyle's determination to break free from the shackles of his past embodied the hope of redemption, a chance to rewrite a story that had long been marred by regret. Claire's journey toward self-forgiveness was as courageous as it was precarious, a tightrope walk between the promise of a new life and the ever-present specter of guilt. And the simmering discord between Amy and Damien, punctuated by Damien's vehement rejection of any familial ties with Nate, underscored the painful reality that some wounds, no matter how deeply they are inflicted, may never fully heal. In this intricate dance of ambition, regret, and redemption, the fate of each individual was inextricably linked. The city, with its winding streets and hidden alleys, served as both a backdrop and a silent witness to the unfolding drama, a testament to the notion that in the pursuit of love and happiness, the price of success was often steep and fraught with peril. As the morning light grew stronger, illuminating the stark contrasts between hope and despair, it became clear that every choice, every whispered secret, and every act of betrayal or kindness would shape the future in unpredictable ways. In the end, the story of Summer, Kyle, Claire, Amy, Damien, and Nate was one of perpetual conflict and delicate balance, a narrative where the lines between hero and villain were perpetually blurred. The interplay of ambition and vulnerability, of past sins and future dreams, created a tapestry that was as rich in emotion as it was in consequence. For Summer, the quest for Kyle's return, though born from love, had become a dangerous obsession, one that threatened to consume her completely. For Kyle, the journey toward a peaceful, joyful future with Harrison was fraught with the weight of every decision made along the way. And for Claire, the attempt to leave behind a dark chapter in her life was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that, sometimes, the greatest battles are fought within oneself. As the day unfolded, it became evident that the true measure of each character's strength lay not in the absence of conflict, but in their willingness to confront it head-on, to face the past with courage, and to embrace the uncertain promise of tomorrow. A dance of deception, love, lies, and betrayal. The room was bathed in golden light, the music flowing effortlessly through the air as couples swayed in perfect harmony. Among them, Phyllis and Billy moved together in a seamless rhythm, their bodies responding instinctively to the music's pulse. To the casual observer, their dance was nothing more than a friendly, flirtatious exchange, nothing to be concerned about. But to Sally, standing at a distance, her fingers curled into the fabric of her dress, it was a lethal weapon disguised as innocent amusement. To Sally, this was more than just a dance. It was a warning. A declaration. A challenge. She knew Phyllis all too well, bold, cunning, and fearless. The woman never did anything without an agenda, and the way she moved with Billy, the way she laughed just a little too easily in his presence, made Sally's stomach twist. Phyllis wasn't just passing time on the dance floor. She was making a move, staking a claim, testing the waters to see if Billy would respond. And that was something Sally could not afford to ignore. She needed to be careful. She needed to be smart. And above all, she could not let her guard down. Phyllis had a way of infiltrating people's lives, of planting seeds of doubt where there had once been trust. And Sally knew that if she gave Phyllis even an inch, the woman would seize the opportunity and push her out of Billy's heart completely. But then, the real question wasn't just about Phyllis. It was about Billy. Sally's gaze hardened as she studied him, analyzing his every move. Did he truly want to be with her? Or was he the kind of man who would fall victim to temptation, who would let Phyllis weave her seductive spell around him until he forgot who he truly belonged to? Sally wanted to believe in Billy. She wanted to trust him. But trust was a dangerous game, and she had been burned before. She needed to know where he stood. Was he truly committed to her, or was he already slipping away? Chloe's plea, the weight of lies. While Sally kept a watchful eye on Billy, in another part of town, a different battle was being fought. A battle not of seduction, but of deception. Chloe sat across from Chelsea and Adam, frustration written all over her face. She had seen enough. She had heard enough. And now, she had to speak up. "You need to stop this," she said firmly, looking between the two of them. "Connor deserves the truth. You can't keep pretending like everything's fine when it's not." Chelsea shifted uncomfortably, exchanging a quick glance with Adam. "We're just trying to protect him," she said softly. Chloe scoffed. "Protect him? You're lying to him. You're making him believe in something that isn't real. You think you're sparing him pain, but all you're doing is setting him up for disappointment." Adam exhaled sharply, rubbing his temple. "Connor is a kid, Chloe. He doesn't need to know all the details of our relationship. He just needs stability." "But stability built on a lie?" Chloe shot back. "Do you really think that's going to help him in the long run? What happens when he realizes you've been faking this happy family act? What happens when the truth finally comes out?" Chelsea's fingers twisted nervously in her lap. "He's been through so much already, we just don't want to break his heart." Chloe leaned forward, her voice softer now, but no less urgent. "His heart is already breaking. He just doesn't know why yet." A heavy silence filled the space between them. Chloe wasn't trying to be cruel. She wasn't trying to attack them. She was just trying to make them see what was right in front of them. Connor needed honesty. He needed clarity. And most of all, he needed parents who wouldn't let their own fears and guilt dictate his reality. Chelsea and Adam thought they were doing the right thing, but in truth, they were doing exactly what they had always done, hiding behind illusions, pretending problems didn't exist, avoiding the hard conversations. And now, it was Connor who would pay the price. The collision of truth and deception. As the night pressed on, the paths of these individuals wove closer together, each entangled in their own battle with truth and deception. Sally continued to watch Billy, her heart pounding as she tried to decipher his every movement. If Phyllis had her way, she would steal him right out from under her. Sally refused to let that happen, but would Billy give her a reason to fight for him, or was he already lost? Phyllis, ever the strategist, played her game with calculated precision, knowing exactly how to plant doubt in Sally's mind. A touch here, a lingering glance there, she didn't need to rush. She had time. Meanwhile, Chloe fought tirelessly to make Chelsea and Adam see the reality of their choices, but whether they would listen was another matter entirely. And somewhere in the heart of it all, Connor sat, blissfully unaware of the fragile house of cards his parents had built around him. A house that, sooner or later, would come crashing down. In the end, the truth always had a way of revealing itself. The only question was, who would survive the fallout?